If you're serious about photography and cinematic video, then at some point you're going to want to start using filters with your phone. Circular polarizing filters help control reflections and the brightness of a sunny sky. Neutral density filters give control over shutter speeds for both photos and video. Specialist mist or starburst filters add particular effects to footage. To use these filters with a phone requires some kind of adapter, and that's the subject of this video. I'm Reese, and you're watching the Izoard Photo video channel. Adapters that allow standard-sized camera filters to be mounted on phones are readily available, but only for some phone models. iPhone users are well catered for, as are users of Samsung devices, but for Oppo phones the choices are extremely limited. For the Find X9 Pro, I couldn't find anything available here in the UK. So I built one. Let's see how I did it. I have a couple of specific requirements for my mount. First, I want to have the phone protected by a case, so the mount has to work with that. Second, I want the mount to include a tripod thread and a cold shoe. I want to be able to steady the phone on suitable fixtures like tripods and selfie sticks, and to be able to mount a microphone with a windshield so I can get clear environmental audio. While there are no mounts specific to the Find X9 Pro, there are so-called universal mounts, which look promising. This one is the TELESIN Universal Phone Filters mount. There's an Amazon link for it in the description. It clamps onto the phone, providing a 1/4-inch tripod mount on one side and a cold shoe on the other. That's just what I need. The filter ring includes a 67mm filter screw thread. Its position relative to the clamp can be adjusted. 67mm is a very common size for camera filters. I already have a number in this size for my main mirrorless camera. The ring also comfortably covers the cameras on the phone. The mount works nicely with my chosen phone case. I picked that specifically because the back surface is almost completely flat, minimizing the possibility of interference with the mount. There's an Amazon link for the case in the description too. So far, so good, but there's a problem. As you can see, there are gaps around the phone's camera bump. If you use a filter with this arrangement, you'll see artifacts in the image where light has entered from behind the phone and has reflected off the back of the filter and into the camera. This is a major issue. The mount needs to fit tightly onto the camera bump to keep out any stray light. Time to fire up the design software and the 3D printer. I designed a simple adapter to fit over the camera bump on the phone case and to clip onto the back of the ring on the TELESIN mount. I printed the adapter in black filament to minimize the chances of light transmission. When I first put it all together, I wasn't happy about the fit. The ring was too close to the back of the phone and ended up at a slight angle. To fix that, I inserted a washer between the main part of the mount and the arm that holds the ring. To do that, I had to disassemble the TELESIN mount. The screw that provides the adjustment is captive and can't be removed. It's held by a clip inside the mount. The first step is to remove the rubber pad on the inside of the mount. This is just held with double-sided tape and can be prized off, revealing 6 small screws that need to be removed. With these out of the way, the cover plate can be lifted off, revealing the spring mechanism and the clip that holds the adjustment screw in place. With the spring mechanism removed, the clip can be prized off the adjustment screw. With that done, it's a simple matter of reassembling the mount. I didn't even have to replace the double-sided tape. With the clip removed, the screw can also be removed. I simply added a washer to increase the distance of the adjustment arm from the back of the phone. Let's assemble the mount onto the phone. First, place the 3D printed adapter onto the phone bump. Then, extend the clamp on the mount and clip it onto the phone while positioning the ring over the adapter. Clip the adapter to the ring. Tighten the adjustment screw. Once adjusted, the mount can be removed completely with the adapter and installed as a complete unit next time. The mount has a 67mm filter thread. It's quite possible to use 67mm filters directly on it. If you happen to have larger filters, adapter rings are readily available. I also have some 77mm filters and often use these with the mount. Let's look at some results using the filters for photography. This first image shows a river scene with no filters at all. There's a lot of glare from the surface of the water. Here's the same scene but with a circular polarizing filter adjusted to remove that glare. This is the Itchen, a river which flows through chalk and is known for the clarity of its water. With the filter in place, the bottom of the river is visible, as are the plants growing in it. Here's the same scene again, but this time with a neutral density filter in place. This reduces the amount of light entering the camera and allows a much longer exposure time. The first two images had exposure times of about a 600th of a second. This one has a 10-second exposure. The motion of the water is smoothed out, as is the motion of the clouds. You can also see there was a breeze. The motion of some branches is evident. Neutral density filters also play a major role in obtaining video footage with a cinematic feel. The cameras on the Find X9 Pro have very wide apertures, which let in a great deal of light and often result in very high shutter speeds. By restricting the amount of light entering the camera, variable neutral density filters can be used to reduce the shutter speeds to values of around a 50th of a second. This introduces the kind of motion blur we associate with movies and plays a role in helping to create that cinematic experience. There is one caveat with this mount. When using the ultra-wide camera, there's a danger of the metal cage of the filter being in the field of view of the camera. It depends on many factors, including how thick the filter's edge is. You'll see it immediately in the image on the phone if it's happening. Variable neutral density filters tend to have thicker edges to support their mechanism and are more prone to exhibiting this behaviour. For the thinnest filters, adjusting the position of the mount can remove the issue. It just takes a little bit of juggling. Also, make sure the mount is flush with the back of the phone at the camera bump. On the other cameras in the phone, it's not an issue. By the way, this issue is not restricted to phone cameras. It's something that photographers and filmmakers need to be wary of when using very wide-angle cameras. So there we have it. We've looked at one way to be able to use camera filters with the Oppo Find X9 Pro. We've also looked at a couple of basic examples of how using filters changes the way that photos can appear. This solution isn't perfect, but in the absence of commercial alternatives does at least allow filters to be used. If you do build something like this, or find a better way of using filters with your phone, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. By the way, there's a link to the 3D printer file I used to make my adapter in the description. Feel free to download it and use it if it helps. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider turning on notifications so you can see when new content gets published. See you next time.